What's going on, YouTube? My name is ginj-tcg or Chris, and today I'm back with another crazy rogue deck video. And this one is going to revolve around Tatsugiri EX. With the Cinnabar lore attack, you look at the top 10 cards of your deck and you put any number of Pokemon you find there onto your bench, shuffling the other cards back into your deck. So you could pair this card with some insane options. Now, I've seen a bunch of different lists on how to run Tatsugiri. I really don't know if there's like a perfect one, but I figured I'm going to give it the wackiest combo I could. So the only Pokemon we could actually lead in this deck are Tatsugiri EX, as well as the Luxray with the explosiveness ability. If this Pokemon is in your hand when you're setting up to play, you may put it down as your active Pokemon. And with the Seeking Fang attack and a free retreat where you can search up to 2 trainers, you can actually set yourself up pretty well if you can't pull off the Cinnabar lore, which is right here. So ideally, you only need 2 energy, which is a Crispin plus Sparkling Crystal, which of our A spec, to pull this attacks off. So if we could get Town Store in play, which we play 4 copies of right here, you know, Town Store, we could search for the tool, we could get Sparkling Crystal wherever that card is, right here. So our attack cost goes 1 energy less on our Terra. Oh my gosh, that was a mess. Wow, let me slow down, take another second. On our Terra Tatsugiri EX, I don't know why it was so difficult for me to pronounce. So all we need is a fire, water, or dark. We just need 2 out of the 3 of those. We could use the attack, and then we could get a whole bunch of Pokemon down based on what we find out of the top 10 cards. So out of the Pokemon, I wanted to make sure we got a good search engine. Naturally, it's going to be 4 Pidgeot EX. I really only need 1 on my bench, but just the availability of it. So maxing out on 4 of them allows us to have the highest chances of finding Pidgeot, as well as, I'll get to all of the other Pokemon in a second, Togekiss, which is going to be our draw engine. So we pull out a bunch of cards from our hand per turn, and at the end of our turn, after we attack, we draw cards until we have 8 in our hand. So at the start of every turn, we should have a pretty solid, a pretty fresh hand going into our turn. Obviously, unless our opponent Ionos us, then hopefully with Pidgeot in place, we can kind of search for what we need. Now, in terms of support Pokemon, we've got, I think, 2 others. I'm going to count Dusknoir as a support Pokemon using Curse Blast, and, you know, put damage counters somewhere where we need. It's kind of a nice option to have, and it sets us up to allow Counter Gain to be used on our attackers. But our other support Pokemon is going to be Archeops with the Primal Turbo attack. You guessed it, I am not playing Lugia V-Star, but we are getting access to Archeops, so then I can pair all of our fun attackers with Archeops to search out Luminous Energies as well as double Turbo Energies for any Pokemon. I need double Turbo if I can't get the Luminous Energy in play, but if all I need is 1 energy to attack, for example, if I have Counter Gain to use Crashing Headbutt, I can use Archeops to find the Dark Energy, or if I want to use Shinobi Blade on Greninja EX, I can put the Luminous Energy here. If possible, I guess we could pull that off on Cinderace, which is our other Pokemon. I'm going to break down their attackers and why they're pretty solid, but we could use Flare Strike with the counter game. Same kind of concept, we just need 2 energy in play. So we might need, like, you know, Luminous Energy and then a basic energy, so Luminous Energy doesn't become colorless unless we just needed to satisfy the cost. I don't know, I'll get into it. But we got Cinderace EX is going to be one of our big attackers. With the Flare Strike attack, we do 280 damage with the free retreat. So if we're up against an EX deck such as Lugia V-Star or Regidrago V-Star, this is going to be a phenomenal option if we could get it down on the bench. If we're up against an electric deck or a normal type deck, Greninja EX is going to swing super hard with Shinobi Blade for weakness, take massive KOs while allowing us to search for whatever card we need. If we're up against a stage 2 deck that does a lot of evolving, Greninja EX is also going to be a solid attacker because we have Mirage Barrage, where we can do 120 damage to 2 of our opponent's Pokemon. So we can choose their active and a bench. 2 bench Pokemon, doesn't really matter if we can snipe Pokemon before they evolve. Greninja is going to be huge. We also have access to Hydreigon, a 1 of, I believe just 1 of in this list that I've included. We do have Crashing Headbutt, which is a solid 2-shot KO machine if it's against pretty much any EX or V Pokemon, but we also discard the top 3 cards of our opponent's deck. So we get after it with some huge KOs, and we could mill, and in case this guy lives an attack or 2, we could even use Obsidian and then snipe their bench and do 130 damage to 2 bench Pokemon and 1 active, so 130 damage to 3 Pokemon in total. So that's going to be all the Pokemon in the deck. There's a lot going on, Hopefully, we'll be able to use Crispin, which can search for 2 basic energies, as well as Archeops to search for luminous energies to set up all of those Pokemon. In general, though, the reason why I chose these Pokemon is because each of those EX Pokemon needs one of the energy needed in Cinnabar lore, which I have to include in the deck naturally to make sure I can pull this attack off no matter what I have with Sparkling Crystal. So we need Fire, Water, Dark energy. The Cinderace will use the Fire energy from that combo, the Hydreigon will use the Dark, and Greninja EX, although it's a fighting type, needs the Water energy from that combo. So all together, they pair very well and actually synergize pretty well with Tatsugiri. All of the other Pokemon in our deck, I mean Dusknoir and Togekiss, we're really not using as attackers. You can't really boss up Togekiss, it's got a free retreat. Dusknoir will just KO ourselves and put 130 damage down, so it's not a good stall target. And where is it? Not Archeops, although it is a colorless attacker, but Pidgeot EX is also a free retreat Pokemon, so there's not really a good like boss stall option in this deck. So they kind of just, these are the attackers that I feel like pair the nicest with Tatsugiri EX. Now, in terms of the supporter count, this is where things get really, really weird. I'm only playing 4 Crispin, 1 boss, and 1 judge in the deck. The reason I'm playing just 4 Crispin is because ideally on your first turn going second, you're able to pull off Crispin, get Town Store, which can allow you to get Sparkling Crystal, and then that can allow you to set up Tatsugiri EX and pull off Cinnabar lore on your first turn. To make sure we're getting Crispin, we're playing 4 copies of Call Bell, which we can use going second on our first turn, where we search our deck for a supporter card and then put it into our hand, as well as 4 copies of Pokégear to make sure that throughout the entire game we can find Crispins when we need it, and hopefully use quick search for something else. If not, we'll just pull out a Crispin and set up any of our other attackers as needed. We are also playing 1 copy of Bravery Charm just to make Tatsugiri a little bit beefier to help in case we need to pass for a turn, as well as 1 copy of Counter Gain, which is going to be huge in making sure our attacking Pokemon can attack for less energy as the game progresses, because we'll probably fall down a prize card or 2. Past that, the list is going to be super simple, really just running a bunch of energy. I'm playing 4 copies of the Water energy. The reason I'm playing the highest count of Water energy is because Mirage Barrage could discard energy, so if I get rid of a Water energy, hopefully that should hurt me the least. But we are playing 3 copies of the basic Fire energy, 3 copies of the basic Dark energy to make sure we could use Cinderace, as well as Hydreigon on the same kind of, level. It shouldn't be too hard to set either of those up. We've also got 3 copies of Luminous Energy, which doesn't work if there's any other special energy attached to this. This is really only the failsafe if we need Archeops. To search out Luminous Energy predominantly for Shinobi Blade or Hydreigon with the Counter Gain, as well as 3 copies of Double Turbo Energy, which is huge if we need to get rid of that with Mirage Barrage. We can do 100 damage to the active, and then 100 damage to a bench Pokemon, or 100 damage to 2 bench Pokemon, depending on what we want to snipe with that attack. Overall, I think this is an insane deck. I think Tatsugiri is like a really hard deck to make work. It's definitely not the highest of competitive levels, but in terms of a very casual, a solid local, maybe a league challenge type deck, definitely a fun one for an online tournament. I think this deck has some tea to it. You could definitely play around with the attackers in this deck. I do like the Tatsugiri and Luxray combo for your lead, as well as the Pidgeot, Togekiss, Dusknoir kind of engine and setup portion of the deck. But in terms of the attackers, the Cinderace, the Greninja, the Hydreigon, even the Archeops, you can definitely play around and change those. I've got another Tatsugiri EX list I do want to try that is vastly different from this one. So if you really like Tatsugiri and you want to see a different take on how to build the deck, definitely let me know in the comments down below, because I would love to visit this deck and see other ways that you compare it, because you compare this with pretty much anything and skip the evolution process. So it's going to be a ton of fun to run. With that being said, that's pretty much it for the list. Again, it's a complicated one, I know, I'm sorry. Let's just hop into these 3 matches and see how well we can do with Tatsugiri EX. But before we get into that real quick, I just wanted to remind everyone I got that TCG Player affiliate link, which is in the description down below. For you to go on to TCG Player to order any cards, any decks, any deck accessories, whatever it is for any card game, make sure you click on that link. If you order stuff within 48 hours of clicking on it, you support the channel in a huge way. So thank you so much to everyone who's been doing that. Also, last update, we got the Rogue Regional, which is listed literally right here, right under me. It's on February 8th. Me and a bunch of my buddies are going to be getting together in my apartment and playing a bunch of Rogue decks. It's going to be a massive streamed event on the channel where I'm going to do a bunch of giveaways, a bunch of polls on who you think is going to win what match, what deck you think is going to be the best Rogue deck in the tournament. So it'll definitely be a fun event. Go check it out if you want to see that. It is February 8th. As we get closer to it, I'll post the time we're hosting the tournament. Now that is all covered, let's hop into today's video and see how well Tatsugiri EX can do. Welcome to match number 1. We didn't open up with a perfect hand. We're still short a kind of a Pokemon. We really needed Tatsugiri there, so I'm going to choose to take a mulligan. We had Crispin, we had the Town Store. It didn't feel good enough to get Tatsugiri. This is actually kind of the perfect opening hand for this deck, and we're up against Archeops EX. Okay, that's going to be a fun matchup. We got Cinderace. We could swing for weakness. We could take the KO, but Archeops sometimes is a thing where it doesn't take any weakness damage, so it's definitely going to be very back and forth for sure, which is fine. And we're going second, which is actually a little annoying, but it's not the end of the world. I think that just means I might try to save my Sparkling Crystal and put that maybe on a different EX, maybe like a Greninja EX or a Hydreigon EX, because next turn I could go Crispin, fully set up Tatsugiri EX, and then save the Sparkling Crystal for another bench Pokemon, and I think that's actually kind of the best play for us. Our opponent did choose for us to go second, which is, or excuse me, for them to go second, for us to go first, which is slightly annoying. Does dampen that plan a little bit. That actually could have been nuts if I could have gone second, pulled off the Cinnabar Lure turn 1, but I guess it's not the end of the world. I'm still pulling it off as soon as possible, and now I'm just kind of saving that Sparkling Crystal for a time where it may save us better. And you know what? That Mew EX is looking like a 2-prize liability on the bench. I got plenty of Pokemon that can snipe that guy down, such as Greninja EX, and if I could somehow pull off Obsidian, that would be huge. And my opponent researches and gets rid of Boss and 2 Night Stretcher. That's actually massive for us. That's a lot of recovery gone, as well as a Gusting card, which could be big. If we could live an attack with Tatsugiri and retreat that guy, just kind of keep it on the bench and not fall down 2 prizes, that would be pretty sweet. And my opponent plays Full Metal Lab, which is a little annoying. Actually, it's very annoying because now Greninja's Shinobi Blade doesn't even 2-shot. We're actually 3-shotting, so that is a little bit problematic. We do have a Stadium Bump in hand. That's just something to be mindful of. Swinging 140 into Duraludon would mean that we are not taking 2 shots with Greninja. We're taking 3, and that could be a game changer. But Cinderace would just 1-shot, assuming we're swinging for weakness. Hydreigon would still swing 2-shot KO no matter what, which would be perfect. I do like Hydreigon in a lot of these matches. Honestly, the more I've played this deck, the more I'm sitting here and I'm like, you know, I kind of want to throw in a second Hydreigon. It's actually kind of nuts as a combo. So for here, I want to go Town Store. We want to see what I could take out. Just thin the deck as much as possible. And we get the Town Crystal, which is huge. Thin the deck as much as possible before I go Cinnabar Lure. I'm even going to rip the Pokégear just to try to thin out nothing. But the goal was there. Now here, we want to go Crispin. We want to take the Fire and the Water Energy. And, okay, I did mess that up. We had the Water Energy in play. I should have taken Fire and Dark. But that's okay, because the Water Energy will go to hand. I can manual attach the Dark. It's alright, never punished. Literally never punished. And then we'll attach the Dark Energy there. We'll keep the Water Energy in our hand. Again, that was kind of a huge misplay. Thank God I got bailed out with that top deck. And we get a ton of Pokemon for our bench. Pidgeot, Cinderace, Togekiss, and Archeops will be the Pokemon that we can get in play this turn, which isn't too bad, honestly. Although, doing this game with just 1 Cinderace doesn't feel great. If we could dodge an attack from my opponent, that would be massive. So I could pull off just 1 more Cinnabar Lure and try to get a second attacker. 1 Cinderace isn't really going to do the trick. I was hoping for Cinderace and literally any other Pokemon, to be honest. My opponent has how many energy in discard? They only got 1. I lied. Now they got 2 energy in discard. If we can dodge Archeops and energy, and there's a 3rd Night Stretcher in discard, but they are going to get the 3rd energy needed to set up, take the KO on Tatsugiri, and that will make it very, very difficult for us to close out the game with 1 Cinderace, but not impossible. They'll go Town Store. Maybe they go TM Evo. That really wouldn't matter, because then their ability won't work. They'll fail it. They don't have any tools in the deck, which is expected. As far as I know, Duraludon Dialga does not play any energy, and they have Archeops in hand. So they could get the 2 energy from Metal Defender onto their active, swing for KO with Archeops, which is fine. We could still pull something off. We could even, at some point, maybe use Garnet Valley. I mean, we play Fire and Dark Energy, and we do have Sparkling Crystal, which actually isn't something I totally considered when making this deck. So maybe the Cinderace can go to town and take KOs where we need it to. So, we'll see. I don't know how we do this, But my god, are we going to figure it out. So we got one Cinderace and a Dream. We do have Archeops on the bench, so we could pull off the Flare Strike. And I got Boss's Orders, so I could even boss up Dialga, actually, which does feel kind of great. I could take 2 prizes on Dialga, 2 on Mew EX with Garnet Strike, or Garnet Volley, excuse me, and then 2 KOs, maybe, or 2 prize cards off a Archeops. Doesn't feel too bad either. I do definitely want to boss KO Dialga this turn, so I think here I want to go Sparkling Crystal, right? We can attach, actually, you know what? I kind of need to, oh man, this is kind of a mess, actually. I could attach the Luminous Energy, but we do need one more energy. Oh, you know what? I could quick search for Crispin right now. That'll be huge. That would actually be so massive. Because then I could get the Fire Energy and the Dark Energy already set up on Cinderace. So we'll take Fire and Dark. And then I can use Flare Strike. It doesn't really matter which I put in my hand because I can just attach the other one with Crispin. I can manual attach this one to Cinderace. And then I can use Primal Turbo to start setting up maybe Pidgeot first. We'll take the, you know what? We'll take a Luminous. Right? Yeah, we'll take a Luminous Energy. Smack that on Pidgeot. The next turn I can attach a Luminous Energy there as well. It doesn't matter if they're colorless. Power Cyclone isn't huge. You know, if we got to use Blustery Wind, we got to use Power Cyclone or even Speedwing, I'm not opposed to it, man. I'll take KOs however I need to do it for now. Oh, actually, you know what? We can't do Boss's Orders yet, but I can do Garnet Valley and take 2 prize cards off Mew, which honestly might be our best shout. And then I'll deal with Archeops however I got to take that thing out. I might have to just boss around it. Yeah, let's do that. We'll do Garnet Valley. We're going to swing 180, take out Mew EX just right now. Just jump ahead, take 2 prize cards, match our opponent. I am not swinging for weakness on their active Archeops, so that doesn't really save us too much. And I do want to use Boss's Orders next turn on Dialga V-Star, because if I could take that thing out before I start Chronos, that would be huge for us. And then however I got to deal with an Archeops, I'll deal with. Although maybe, what would be the best play to deal with Archeops? Especially when we don't have a Stadium Bump. Although we got Quick Search still. Okay. I couldn't use Precious Gift. My hand is a little full. I don't know how we get around this one, to be honest. You know, kind of whiffing 2 attackers there is making this a lot more difficult for me to math out. And Cinderace has options, but it's no Obsidian. It's not technically Shinobi Blade. I mean, obviously it's not Shinobi Blade. You know, so we're not able to just search for a card a turn with our attack. I don't know if that would change anything up too much, but it would change something a little bit, and that would be interesting to see how that would have went out. I really just, man, what I would have done for 1 Greninja EX. 1 Greninja EX, 1 Hydreigon with Cinderace, man, I would have walked through this deck, and they're actually going to go Boss's Orders, which might save us the game, because Cinderace is actually going to be full HP here. Wait, that's actually a game changer. And they Metal Defender, swing for KO. Yeah, we did not need Archeops at all, actually. Cinderace being full HP here is honestly a game changer. So now I can promote Cinderace. I can go Boss's Orders onto Dialga. We get a Stadium Bump there. Oh my god, that feels so good. Okay, so I'm going to smack the Luminous Energy down here. I'm going to just shuffle my deck with Town Store. I don't believe there's really anything I can do. There's not. That's fine. Okay. And I think the best play for us would be to boss KO Dialga and then just deal with Pidgeot, or deal with their active Archeops however we gotta do it. We'll figure it out. For now, give me the KO. Let's take the KO on this guy. Let's swing for weakness. During this next turn, this Pokemon can't use Flare Strike. That is fine. I will use Garnet Valley. We're 2-shotting Archeops anyways because they're not taking weakness damage, so it's not the end of the world. Actually, you know what I could do is even retreat into Pidgeot and just swing with Blustery Wind. Get some good chip damage on Archeops, and then if nothing else, I can use Garnet Valley and snipe it from the bench. It would do a clean 300 on the dot. That actually feels kind of great, I'm not going to lie. Okay, we've got options. We might actually be able to turn this one around because my opponent's not swinging for KO here. They're only swinging for 220 damage. I could use Quick Search and search for Judge. Well, first attach an energy to Togekiss, and then use Quick Search, search for Judge, free retreat into Pidgeot, swing, and then do 120 damage to Archeops. I think that might be our best line. to be honest. Unless they go boss or judge themselves, that could make things a little difficult. We'll see. I'm curious to see how we do this, but I know we could pull it off, man. I mean, especially since they went boss, KO, on Archeops. Our Cinderace is sitting full HP, and my opponent has a bunch of cards in hand. One judge can disrupt a lot of what they're feeling, and they're already just one boss, but they are 3 Night Stretchers down. I don't know. I have no idea how this one's going to end. I feel like some of the matches when you're watching, you're like, you know what? We got so many different lines. We're in the driver's seat. We could totally walk away with this one. This is not one of those matches. This is one of those matches where I, honest to God, have no idea how this is going to end up. And my opponent goes research, and that is exactly the card I wanted to see hit the Discord palette, is that Turo. So when I do use, I do use my free retreat, go into quick search, and use Blustery Wind, I can do 120 damage to active, and Turo's in the discard pile. That would be annoying if they picked it up and they full healed it effectively. That would make things a lot more complicated, but they did use the research there, so I'm curious to see what else they have in hand. I know for now, all I'm going to do is smack a water energy onto Togekiss. I am gonna Town Store again. I know there's no tools, but what's in the deck? Is there anything huge? We do have our copy of Judge. I can't go Counter Catcher, actually. That would be amazing, though, if I could. But we are actually ahead on prize cards, which makes that a little difficult right now. So we're just gonna quick search and take Judge. I'm going to rip the Judge, retreat into Pidgeot, use Pidgeot, do 120 damage to Archeops, and hope that I could close out this game by KOing my opponent's benched Archeops V. So, or yeah, excuse me, not a V. Unless they attack with it in the active. If they attack with it in the active, all we do is use our free retreat again, go into Cinderace, and yeah, I'm going to discard the Stadium. I really don't want them shuffling their deck. Yeah, and we got Town Store in hand, which is actually huge. I will 100% use Precious Gift. Draw into a whole bunch of energy, one of which is a Dark Energy, so I can attach that to Togekiss. And then we've got 3 setup Pokemon to close out this deck. So although we only got 1 attacking Pokemon, my god, am I not afraid to use my benched support Pokemon as attackers. And you know what would have won us the game there? I think, or not won us the game. Would have almost guaranteed victory. Oh no! No, it would have won us the game. If we got Dusknoir on the bench, I just realized that. We could have used Curse Blast, KO'd my opponent's Duraludon, and then we could have used Garnet Valley and Snipe Greninja. Boom, that would have been KO. So my opponent is going to assemble Alloy again. They did get 2 Archeops EXs out of that Judge, which is absolutely nuts. And I guess it concealed cards, which makes sense. And did they get anything else? I wasn't totally paying attention. I was kind of looking at a bunch of lines. They did not. Okay, that's fine. And they go Iono. That's okay. You can play as many Ionos as you want. As long as you do not KO my Cinderace, we are good. And they did use Iono. That's not a boss's orders or a Turo, which is exactly what I needed. They go Pokégear. I don't care what supporter you have in hand. I plan on closing this game out next turn. And they get another Iono. They still didn't get the boss or Turo with it. So they can retreat here, promote any other Archeops they want. I'm just going to retreat into Cinderace, use Garnet Valley, swing for KO on a benched Archeops, assuming they retreat. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So, we'll see if there's any way they can close this out. Counter Catcher is the one card I'm scared of at the moment. Anything short of that, and that's going to be a game number 1 for an insane Tatsugiri EX deck. What else does my opponent have? They are sitting here. They got 3 cards in hand. I don't think it's much, to be honest. I think that's all they got. I think they're just waiting to use Metal Defender, and there it is. That is going to be a huge match number 1 for us. Who knew Cinderace had it in him to take 4 prize cards a turn? Even if my opponent got another Stadium up, I could have used Quick Search. For now, we are going to Garnet Valley, do 180 damage on Archeops EX, and close out match number 1. That was actually nuts, I'm not going to lie. This deck is insane, dude. This deck is, don't get me wrong, relies on an insane amount of luck, I'm not going to lie. I mean, Cinnabar Lore, just the nature of that attack is way too lucky, especially when you're falling behind 2 prize cards to use it. But to come back 2 prize cards with just 1 Cinderace EX is kind of nutty. So that's going to wrap it up for match number 1. Let's hop into match number 2 and see if we can guarantee the positive record and pick up another chip for the deck. Welcome to match number 2. I got a cup of tea in between matches and I took 3 mulligans, which isn't too bad. Actually, it's going to be more than that because this hand is pretty awful. I'm up against a Charizard deck. My opponent didn't take 1, so I'm definitely going to take a mulligan here. It's not totally what I needed, and we are going to take, oh gosh, we're going to take 10 more mulligans. Okay, well, This is bad. For now, we'll promote a Tatsugiri, and we're going to have to figure something out. My opponent is taking an insane amount of cards. We took 14 mulligans in total. I don't think I've taken that many mulligans in my life before. So that is definitely a new record. My opponent has 14 cards in hand off their top deck. I am sure they have something playable. Oh, wow, this is bad. This is really bad. Okay, well, I didn't get the Sparkling Crystal either, so I can't even pull this off next turn. I mean, I can use Crispin. I can get 2 energy attached. I think it presses Trolley. I mean, I guess that makes sense. Are they playing the Terapagos build? No, they're not. They're not even playing Dusknoir, actually. They're getting Radiant Charizard down early. Alright, yeah, I guess it's TM Evo version of Charizard, maybe? Then we get the Bravery Charm, which actually, you know what, isn't bad here. I could take another turn just to set up my Tatsugiri, because they could definitely evolve next turn, so that's fine. You know what, I'll take it. We'll get the Water Energy, and we have a Fire Energy in hand, and we got Luminous Energy in hand. We actually prized a Fire Energy, so I'm just going to take the Dark here. Doesn't really matter which I keep in my hand, because I am going to attach the... Actually, you know what? No, I don't want to attack. If I attach Luminous and swing, when they evolve next turn, and that's a when, they have 11 cards in hand, they will do 210 damage to us. I'm not even going to let myself attack. I'm just going to pass it there. Just give it to my opponent. We need a Fire Energy, which we have Luminous next turn, so then I could pull off Cinnabar Lord. And against Charizard EX, I think the best plays for us are going to be my 2-shot Pokemon. That's going to be my Greninja EX, my Hydreigon EX, pretty much all my attackers, now that I think about it. But I think the best ones are going to be Greninja and Hydreigon. As nice as Cinderace is, I kind of want those bonus effects. I kind of want to mill 3 cards out of my opponent's deck or search for any card in my deck. I feel like those are going to help me out a little bit better. Maybe a Cinderace could be huge to take out Pidgeot, though. So I guess it wouldn't be the end of the world if I did get that guy. DTE would not help me too much, but if I can maybe pull off a Sparkling Crystal play on that, on Cinderace EX, that would be an awesome boss KO on my opponent's Pidgeot. So they have 9 cards left in hand. I'd be shocked if they don't immediately have Rare Candy Charizard, but it seems they don't. They are going Quick Search right now. So despite having a quadrillion cards in their hand, Charizard was not able to Rare Candy evolve 4 Pokemon in play at once, which actually surprises me because this deck seems to get everything it wants all the time, much less without 14 mulligans from your opponent. So they are going to Infernal Rain, get 2 energy down. On their active, they could put 2 more on a benched Charmander, which will set that thing up preemptively, and that is exactly what they're going to do. Makes sense. And you know what I do realize, staring at my opponent's board? They are really weak right now to Obsidian. Not that I could pull off Obsidian next turn, but it would be pretty cool if I could. So they're actually, oh my gosh, they actually got 5 energy down this turn. This is nuts. I mean, that's to be expected. We took 14 mulligans. Thank gosh we lived the attack. And what do we top deck? Is it anything super useful? Crispin's actually kind of huge, I'm not going to lie. Just to have that in hand for next turn. For now, we are just going to Cinnabar Lore and hopefully get out a bunch of attacking Pokemon. And we are. Okay, this is huge. So we got Greninja, Pidgeot, Cinderace. Actually, you know what? We got a full bench. We got 2 attackers. I really can't complain with this. You know, like it just wouldn't be right, man. We got our main attacker. We got Greninja EX. We got Cinderace, which honestly doesn't seem that bad now that I know I could just go Gust KO on Pidgeot. I got Pidgeot, so I could use that for Quick Search. I got Archeops, which I could use for Luminous Energy. I got a whole lot of things down, which honestly clutch up a whole lot. So yeah, this feels pretty good now that I think about it. What to do next turn, though? Next turn is going to be the tricky one. I can promote Cinderace. It's a free retreat. So regardless if I want to attack with Cinderace or Greninja, promoting Cinderace doesn't feel too bad. Or Pidgeot or Togekiss. Literally all 3 of those Pokemon have a free retreat. My opponent's going to go up 2 prize cards, and they're actually going to go Boss's Orders right now. Who are they taking out? Are they taking out Archeops, maybe? No. They're putting damage onto Pidgeot. That's interesting. But that doesn't mean we're behind on prize cards yet. So I'm not really complaining. Actually, you know what? Oh, and we top deck Sparkling Crystal. That's actually nuts. Okay, wait. Now I think I legitimately want to go Sparkling Crystal into Cinderace again. This is literally going to be a Sparkling Crystal Cinderace video. Yeah, Cinderace video coming next. This card's actually nuts. Because if I put Sparkling Crystal on Cinderace, I can go Boss if it's in the deck. Or, no, they didn't take a KO. I can't go Counter Catcher. Oh, man. You know what actually I'm going to do? I'm just going to use Greninja this turn. What am I going to quick search for? That's the question. I could use Archeops as well. Actually, Primo Turbo saving that guy would be pretty big. I could even potentially pull off another Cinnabar lore at some point. I think the best play for us is to just start thinning cards out of the deck. Let's just take Boss's Orders, maybe. Just to hold it in hand. I can use Crispin early. I really don't need to gust any Pokemon in specific. Right? Oh, no, I could pull this off? No. Yeah, I could. Wait a second. No. I could pull this off. We go Archeops. I'm taking out Pidgeot this turn. Are you kidding me? Give me the 1 Luminous Energy. I could take 2, but no, I'm just going to take the 1. I might honestly go for a second Cinnabar lore this game. Literally just because. I'm going to attach... Oh, wait, no. Why can't I attach that? Wait, what? Did I attach an energy this turn? I did. I attached it to Greninja. Oh, man, I could have pulled off that Cinderace play. That would have been awesome. That's fine. That's okay. We're still going to retreat. We're going to go into Greninja. I'm not going to play Sparkling Crystal. I'm going to use Crispin. I'm going to take out a Water Energy and a Fire Energy. And you know what? Honestly, I could have even used Mirage Barrage to take 2 prize cards. For now, I'll put the Water Energy into my hand. I'll attach the Fire Energy to the active. And if nothing else, you know what? I could swing for KO on 2 Pokemon next turn. I could take out 2 Charmanders. Wow, this was just a turn of misplays, wasn't it? So I'll swing 170 there, get some good damage on Charizard. I'm not going to be able to... Yeah, I definitely want to search my deck for a card. I don't really need anything in specific. I think the best thing for us is just going to be another Crispin. Just to keep Crispin and Boss in hand. Those are going to be our 2 best friends. And yeah, my opponent has 160. The most I could do is 120 damage. It would have been nice, I guess, if I could have taken 2 prize cards that turn with Mirage Barrage, but I don't think it would have saved us. How do I want to do this? I want to KO their active, for sure. Right? KO their active with Greninja. Then use Mirage Barrage, take out 2 Charmanders. Actually, maybe I do that now before they evolve 2 Charmanders. Because they could easily go Rare Candy Charizard at any point. So I think next turn I'm going to go Mirage Barrage. Assuming they don't evolve right now. I guess they could evolve Charmeleon and Charmander this turn. That would be problematic. Then I definitely would have regretted not Mirage Barraging. Because I want to take 2 prize cards off 2 unevolved Pokemon. Take 2 prize cards off Charizard EX. And then 2 prize cards off Pidgeot EX with Cinderace. So I want to save Boss for that. Okay. And they'll go Infernal Rain. They'll get some more energy set up. We'll see where they place it. If they have a lot more energy in the deck, it seems they do. They are moving energy. It is not a 5 energy list. And they get another 3 energy down. They also played that single prize Moltres, which I'll check out. It is definitely safe to say. I have no clue what's going on. This deck is a mess, man. This one is kind of hard to navigate, I'm not going to lie. Oh, okay. So they can discard 2 energy, do 120 damage to the bench. That's actually kind of smart. They can take out Pidgeot with that. That's pretty sweet. So they'll do 120 to our, or 180, excuse me, to our active, which is annoying, but we can make it work because this turn I can take out 2 benched Charmanders, and then I can promote Cinderace, boss at Pidgeot, and then would I go counter? No. I would go counter catcher on the Pidgeot. So for now, I definitely want to hold Sparkling... Actually, you know what? I'm going to attach Sparkling Crystal just in case. I'm going to quick search. I'm going to take out... What am I going to take out? I'm going to take out Counter Catcher just to have that in the hand. When... Actually, you know what? My opponent would have to take another KO, wouldn't they? It's tricky. I'll smack the water on the active for now. And then I could use Crispin. I could get the Dark Energy attached to Cinderace, which is good. Yeah. No, that works. Because I don't want to boss anything yet. Actually, you know what I could do? I could boss up Radiant Charizard. Maybe stall for a turn. No, because then my opponent would easily be able to get ahead. Actually, but it does feel pretty good, especially if I'm sniping a couple Pokemon. I could use Mirage Barrage again after that. Attach a double turbo energy. Feels kind of nuts, actually. See if they have any switch in the deck. Give me this guy. This might mess everything up, but it's fine. It's going to be kind of awkward anyways. So now I'll just see what I can do. So I could Primal Turbo, which actually, you know what? Doesn't feel too bad either. Putting a double turbo energy on Pidgeot was kind of clutch. I mean, I guess we didn't have a double turbo last time, but I'm going to put a double turbo on it this time. I don't know. I feel kind of good about it. And then here, I think I will just thin Pokégear out. Maybe we hit something. Yeah, I was going to say we most likely don't. Just less cards in the hand, which feels a little bit better. And now we can Mirage Barrage, take out both Charmanders, which is also going to get a lot of energy in my opponent's discard pile, which is huge. So yeah, that's not bad. And we'll be up on prizes. My opponent most likely cannot retreat this turn. I'm sure they can quick search for a switch, but I'll make them burn that now. So we'll take our 2 prize cards, jump ahead, and then see how we follow up next turn. We get Town Store Call Bell. Okay, not bad. I can Crispin. I could get the Dark Energy attached to my Cinderace. Depending on which Charizard they promote, I guess I'd have to swing into either, to be honest. I'm not going to be able to boss Pidgeot. I'm going to have to wait to fall another prize card or 2 behind. Maybe this is my Tatsugiri turn. And yeah, they go quick search for switch. Okay, that's fine. They go into the damage Charizard. Wait, that changes everything, actually. That kind of changes everything. Right? Does it? I think it does. They go Burning Darkness for KO. I could take the KO with Flare Strike with Cinderace. Would that save me here? I can't go Counter Catcher. I need to be losing. I need to be another turn down to pull that off. I could go Cinnabar Lore. That doesn't feel too great. Blustery Wind isn't going to do it. My opponent has 160 damage left. The only way I can take that out is with a Flare Strike, man. Ah, that's just slightly problematic, isn't it? Okay, maybe I have to deal with Pidgeot some other way. Or maybe I just go Cinnabar Lore, man. Just give him another 2 prize cards. Right? Doesn't feel too awful. Call Bell, I can't even thin that out of my hand. That's so unfortunate. Okay, so I can Crispin here. Take a dark, just 1 dark energy. Just to get that onto Cinderace. That'll go to hand. We can attach that here. And I can just throw Town Store down. I don't think there's any tools left. I guess there's Counter Gain, which is pretty big. Nope, that's prize. Okay. I'm going to Cinnabar Lore here. Just to fall down on prize cards. Boss up Pidgeot. Take the KO. And then with Counter Catcher. And then figure something else out. Actually, we're going to quick. So we're going to do as much thinning as possible. I want to make sure I get the right Pokemon. I don't know what the right Pokemon is. Maybe a Dusknoir. Ooh. Ooh, Dusknoir would feel pretty cool. I guess we'll take another Crispin here. And then I could use Archeops. I could get some more special energy. Actually, I don't think I want to. I might just fail this because we have the double turbo energy in hand. That's the only thing worth taking. Yeah, actually, no. We'll take that. Actually, would Obsidian ever change anything? If I could go Luminous. No, because Luminous wouldn't work if I Obsidian, because double turbo energy would be attached as well. Yeah, I'll take the double turbo energy. I'll attach it to Togekiss. Actually, yeah, I'll attach it to Togekiss. Okay. Do I just pull off an attack with Togekiss? I'd be behind 1 prize card. My opponent would still need 2 cards to KO. I could swing for KO with Archeops at that point. But I do like Cinnabar Lore. I kind of want another beefy attacker. Let's do this. I don't know why. I've just got a feeling I want a second beefy attacker. Greninja feels pretty good if nothing else. And there's nothing else worth taking. So I will take Greninja. We do have 1 Luminous Energy left in the deck, so we can use that. I think we have a Water Energy left. We got 1 on the active, and we've got 2 on the discard pile. We should have 1 left. We have 1 left in the list. I don't know if it's present. I'm going to go Boss's Orders and take out Pidgeot EX. Okay, that's actually slightly problematic because Tatsugiri is still super, super low HP, but we can use Counter Catcher right now, which is also big. All right, this is interesting. This is interesting. You know what? I could promote Cinderace, Counter Catcher up Pidgeot, take the KO, and then use Garnet Valley to KO their damaged Charizard EX if they don't pull something else off next turn. That feels pretty good. I'm not going to lie. That would be a nuts play. That would be a nuts play. Kind of the same exact play as last time now that I think about it. It's kind of crazy how good that combo is. I mean, I'll still use Primal Turbo. I'll still get that water energy attached to Greninja. I kind of just like having an energy on that guy just in case. They're going to Rod back Charmander 2 energy, so they're trying to set up a third Charizard EX. I'm curious to see how my opponent responds to this. They've got 2 bosses orders in the discard pile. There is a good chance they'll have another. I mean, we're taking away their Quick Search. So what are the chances another one is in their hand? There's only 16 cards left. They'll top deck 17. I don't think they play any Pokégears or anything like that. Although that's not what I should worry about right now. Right now I should worry about just closing out of this game. So we're going to take the 1 Luminous Energy here. Smack it on Greninja just in case. We're going to use Crispin. And we're going to take whatever basic energy, perfect, I got left. I'm going to smack it on Greninja at this point. Just to make sure I'm attacking. I got a fire energy in hand. So if they do get rid of my Sparkling Crystal, I can manual attach my fire energy next turn. I can still pull off the Garnet Valley. And I think here we go Counter Catcher on their active, swing for 280, and we can KO their benched Charizard EX this turn. We just have to see how my opponent responds right now. We're tied on prizes, so Counter Catcher isn't going to work. It's really just boss's orders. And there's the judge, but if we make it to next turn, we do actually get away with the chip. They have to win right now. They have to go boss on Tatsugiri. It's definitely possible. There's 8 cards in hand. They got no search. And there's the boss. Okay, yeah, they got it. Man, that hurts. Oh, we were so close. So close to pulling that off. Maybe I should have just skipped that Cinnabar lore play. Use that turn to attack. Maybe that early boss is what killed me. I don't know. There's a lot of things I probably shouldn't have done there. That one was a bit messy. I think the 14 mulligans kind of threw me off my game. It's kind of just in a full sun mode. But seriously, that game being as close as it was after taking 14 mulligans, absolutely nuts. We're 1-1. Not too bad with the deck like this. Let's hop into match number 3. See if we can turn this one around and get the positive record for the day. Welcome to match number 3. We open up with, honestly, a solid hand. We got Tatsugiri EX. We got Luxray in the active. We can Seeking Fang for Sparkling Crystal, as well as Crispin for Tatsugiri the turn after. And we're up against Reggie Steel, Regigigas. It is the Reggie's deck, seemingly with Pikachu EX, seeing that Area 0 under depth. So this is going to be a fun matchup for sure. Honestly, dude, I think I just have to start making a Cinderace video, because if I could just spam Garnet Valley and just keep pinging one specific Radiant, oh my god, one specific Reggie, my opponent will have a miserable time. And there is the Carmine. They did pull that off turn 1, and they got rid of a Rod, which is pretty huge. Actually, they got rid of 2 Rods, 2 Research. Yo, I'm just saying, my opponent's going to have a pretty rough time recycling Reggies if I keep sniping one of them in specific, especially if I could pinpoint which one would be the hardest to go for. For example, if they discard a Reggie at any point, that's the one. That's the one I'm going to keep taking out, and it's Barbroach. Oh, okay. So, change of plans. I don't feel like getting milled. That might be our target. That's a scary Pokemon to see in a Reggie deck. They could just keep recycling those reversal energies, and they got 2 Barbroaches down. Yeah, it don't matter which one I take. We're picking a Reggie. We're abusing it. That's it. That's all I got to do. And we get the Luminous Energy out of the top decks. Not bad. I'll attach the Dark Energy for now. We actually get Area 0 procced. Wait, that's nuts. Oh. That's a huge stadium for us, I'm not going to lie. To have a bench this big, potentially, with Pokemon, kind of game-changing. So for now, I'm going to go Crispin. Dude, did I just prize Sparkling Crystal? Stop. Stop it right now. I needed that thing. Okay. Well, I don't really need Town Store. I guess I'll take maybe double Crispin, because I don't know how likely it is I'll be able to pull this guy. Use Luxray again. So I'm just going to go double Crispin here. Just save myself some time. My opponent has 4 cards in hand. There is a chance they do have a bit of a bricky hand. They did lose 2 Research and 2 Carmine, so if they don't have another one of those cards in their hand, we could be hanging for another turn, and they just pass. That's actually so massive for us. Okay, and we get the Fire Energy top deck. It's not too bad. So I'm going to Cinderace, or Crispin right now, excuse me. I'm going to take the, actually, oh man, I really don't want to take the Dark Energy there. I'm going to take the Fire. But there's just one of each of these, which is in my hand. Fire Energy's in my hand. Give me the Dark. Put the Dark Energy in my hand. So I can attach the Water Energy. I can smack down. I guess, you know what? We'll do the Fire Energy, because there's only 1 Dark Energy here. And I'm going to Seeking Fang again. Thin my deck just one more time from 2 cards. I think I want to go Judge and maybe another Crispin, to be honest. Just take all the supporters needed out of my hand. Got every supporter pretty much in my deck in my hand currently, which isn't too bad. Next turn, I can use the manual attachment of the Luminous Energy. I can free retreat pivot into Tatsugiri, and then I can just rip a Cinnabar Lore and just set up my bench as much as possible. We'll see if my opponent has anything to do this turn. If not, it is just going to be a draw pass for my opponent. That's massive, actually, in terms of allowing us to dig just a little bit deeper. We are going to retreat into Tatsugiri, rip Cinnabar Lore, and see how many Pokemon we get off this. We have as much bench as we need, and it seems I'm going to hit a solid bit. I will take the Dusknoir, Greninja, Pidgeot, Archeops. I'm not going to take the Luxray. Honestly, yo, I might Cinnabar Lore next turn as well. Like, I'm just saying, I can. There's really nothing stopping me. I can use this turn to Crispin. I can start setting up my Greninja, and they just draw pass again. Yeah, that is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm not going to lie. So I'm going to Crispin here. I'm going to get down to Water Energy. And you know what? I'll take a Fire Energy this time. I'm going to put the Fire Energy in my hand. I'm going to attach the Water Energy to my Greninja EX. I'm then going to smack the Fire Energy down on this guy as well, just in case I need to pull off. Actually, no, I couldn't pull off Obsidian if I wanted to. It just hit me now in match number 3 that I don't play nearly enough energy. I've only got the Dark, but I like Greninja in this deck. I'm going to use Cursed Blast. I'll give both my opponent and I a prize, and I'm going to take out, do they got anyone to discard? No, they don't. Alright, well, is any one in specific problematic? You know what? Let me take out a pseudo draw engine. It feels pretty good. I feel like this is the best Reggie to take out with Dusknoir. It's going to be Regidrago, and I've got no information given. In case they get thin any cards out of their hand, that is a potential draw engine if they switched out their active. So I'll just bully that guy out now. I can use Primal Turbo and Quick Search still. That's actually kind of nuts. So I can use this guy for now, and I think we want to just thin out another supporter. And then I can use Primal Turbo. Really not any energy I kind of want to take. I guess I can attach the Double Turbo Energy to Radiant Greninja potentially. Because 120 wouldn't KO anything. I don't know how much Wish Cash actually has. I'm going to fail this. That's fine. We can fail this. We'll be okay. I'm going to use Cinnabar Lore one more time. And just see if I could get, I only get one Cinderace EX. That's insane out of that. So I wasn't able to pull out too much more. That's fine, though. Next turn, I can start going Barrage, just start taking as many KOs as possible. Just jump up prize card after prize card. My opponent gets a Nest Ball. They are able to get out another Regidrago. And here is the play I was talking about, where I just kind of abuse a Reggie, and it actually feels pretty good, I'm not going to lie. You know what I could do, too? They Ultra Ball. Yeah, see, this is why I took out Drago, man. They could Ultra Ball, they could thin their hand. What I might do is Mirage Barrage. Ooh, they have 140. They are going Wish Cash right now. Okay. I was going to try to snipe a Wish Cash. But you know what I might do? They Carmine as well. They had a banger of a hand following up. And they get rid of a Reggie Alecki. Ooh. We've got a lot of Reggies we could snipe. We could take out Drago. We could take out Alecki. Never mind, they scoop. That hurt, man. That hurt. I don't know how long this video was, but I really do want to include that because we were kind of rumbling in that last match. I'm not going to lie. We were about to start abusing a Reggie deck the turn after. I mean, we had a pretty solid setup. I'm not going to front. Like, yeah, they conceded, but dude, they were about to get ran through if they did not. That's a 2-1 for the day. That is a 2-1. As far as I'm concerned, I was ready to walk through the rest of that Reggie deck. So 2-1, not bad with a casual deck like this. This is definitely more on the casual meme tier type level, but definitely worth playing if you got some time to kill and you just want a fun deck to run just for fun. You know, nothing crazy. Definitely not a tournament winning deck by any means, but a ton of fun to play nonetheless. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know I definitely enjoyed recording it. Again, if you haven't heard in the beginning of the video, Rogue Regional right here, literally right where I'm pointing. February 8th, me and my buddies recording a Rogue Regional, bunch of Rogue decks. Let me know in the comments down below what, if you're curious what lists are being played, so you can start taking your picks now, because we've got a bunch of the decks already on the ready. We're working on refining our list, and use my TCG affiliate link if you're ordering anything off TCG Player. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. Stay epic. Peace.